Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to address a point, one of the criticisms I'm getting again recently, and it's kind of funny because it's actually not true, and that's this criticism that I've flip-flopped on carbohydrates, and I'm now saying carbohydrates are bad because I'm doing a ketogenic diet. Let's go back and point out what's going on there. I've not said carbohydrates are bad. In fact, I have said that the majority of athletes, majority meaning over half, will generally do better on a high carbohydrate diet. So let that sink in for a minute. The majority of athletes seem to do better on a high carbohydrate diet at the upper echelons of almost every sport in the world. By me admitting that, I'm pretty pro carbohydrate for athletes. I personally carb load right now every Saturday. I consider a high carbohydrate intake on that day to be essential to my continued performance while losing fat. I'm not anti-carbohydrate. What I've pointed out is that there are genetic differences among us, insulin sensitivity differences, ghrelin, leptin production, things like that, that vary from individual to individual. People who tend to have low appetites and be naturally skinny tend to do really well on high carbohydrate diets, even for cutting. And it's not because of somal types, it has to do with appetite response, ghrelin production, things like that. These sort of people get good satiety on carbohydrates. People like me, and observing it in my dad's family, there are pro athletes in my dad's family, and everyone who's not really athletic is obese, extremely obese, voracious appetites. For me, carbohydrates do not have any real satiety. Even ones that make me feel physically full sometimes don't make the hunger go away and I get hungry again an hour later. So for me, a low carb diet seems to give me more energy. I don't get sleepy and I don't get as hungry, anywhere near as hungry while following a ketogenic type diet, and I have good energy and can train really well on the higher fat. The fat seems to be just fine for training fuel, to do long bouts of cardio, to do hour-long lifting sessions. I do really well on it. And there's a growing body of evidence out there from people like Dr. Jeff Volek, who is also a registered dietitian who works with a lot of athletes, showing that ketogenic style diets for some athletes seem to be superior. They seem to thrive on it in the professional environment. They seem to be a minority. And so let's make that clear. What I'm saying is that if you seem to thrive better on a higher fat, lower carb style diet, it might be advantageous for you to do so, particularly if you get sleepy and hungry all the time, even as an athlete who should have good insulin sensitivity from a higher carb diet. But if you thrive on a high carb diet and you have no trouble getting lean, losing weight, and feeling just fine while eating higher carbs when cutting, then by all means continue to do so. And for that, the majority of very athletic people will probably fall into that group. Now, for less active people who maybe don't train as hard, training every day isn't part of their life, there might be more of them pushing in the other direction, particularly the standard American who is very insulin sensitive already. Due to sedentary lifestyles, bad dietary choices, a lot of them might actually do better on a lower carb diet early on, and then as they become more athletic, if they become really athletic, they might shift back in the other direction. So we need context here, people. I'm not being anti-carbohydrate. I am by no means anti-carbohydrate. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. And actually, let me turn to the side for the people who are always saying I just look like a fat guy who doesn't lift, and I'll give you guys a side chest.